you can customize your own Minecraft world. Keep watching and I'll show you how. Welcome back to BetaWorld, a series where we travel through the history of Minecraft in order to uncover all the secrets and get all the treasures. Now, before we truly begin this episode, I'm going to make you a promise. By the end of this episode, we will be updating past the current version of Indev we are in. That's right, we will no longer be in Indev 2010-0124-2310 by the end of this episode. Our main point of interest today is world types. As you may have noticed in previous episodes, there is a Generate New Level button in the pause screen. We can select from many different fields here to create new worlds with these fields. The first one we're going to be looking at is this type. Now, the main BetaWorld area is this default island type, which, as is pretty obvious, surrounds us with water and puts us on a sort of island. But if we click it again, we get the floating type. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Wow. We are above the clouds, and seemingly above a really big ocean. Now, being above the clouds is just a visual trick. The clouds have been moved down to the bottom of the world, unlike how they're at the top in a normal world, to give the illusion of us being up in the air. These floating islands are quite pointy on the bottom, have some really nice lighting. There are smaller islands also, and plenty of visible caves. This world type also generates with a good amount of floating sand, which again, when updated, will go down to the bottom. Our next option in the type field is flat. Let's take a look at this one. Basically, all the terrain heights have been completely removed, and instead of an infinite ocean, there's infinite grass. There are still trees, flowers, and ranas, but there seem to be no caves, and again, there's no really terrain height. Now, what's interesting is you can see we can break all these blocks up to the world limit, but after the original 256 by 256 barrier of every other world is broken, we are unable to break blocks. They sort of glitch out and replace themselves once broken. Of course, we're not done with the type field quite yet. There is one more. That is inland, which is a weird combination of the island and flat themes. It has the terrain heights and such of the island theme, except instead of an infinite ocean, it's the infinite grass plain like the inland has. Aside from that, it is exactly the same as an island, though. Our next field we have to look at changes the shape of our boundary. The long preset on this boundary makes the world, well, a rectangle that is long. But how long and wide is it? And so, after manual counting, I have deduced that the long world type is, drumroll please, 126 by 512 blocks, which makes it slightly smaller than the square world type. If it's a little difficult for you to visualize how long this world is, this is a screenshot of the world I'm currently in. Isn't that neat? The other possible value for the shape field is deep. This one's a bit cryptic, but from my analysis, it seems to increase the chance of the sheer cliffs with the stone appearing. Our next field is size. It's default set to normal, which is our 256 by 256 blocks we're used to. And there's huge, which I'm not counting that one out, but according to the Minecraft wiki, that is 512 by 512 blocks. And small, which also according to the wiki is 128 by 128, a perfect half and 2 times. Let's take a look at a huge world. Yeah, that is most definitely huge. Well, let's take a look at a small world now. If I go on top of this hill, I can see the entire world very clearly. It's pretty darn small. The final field in this version is theme. The normal theme, as you can see here, is the default. It's all the grassy stuff that we've been seeing everywhere. But there is a second theme. I'm going to be renaming this theme because I don't like its name. We're going to be calling this Fiery. So, let's boot up a Fiery Island Square Normal World. This is probably the most radical change of any world theme we've seen up to this point. The sky is eternally dark, there is no grass, only dirt, and instead of an infinite ocean, it's infinite lava. It's pretty spooky if you ask me. But for some reason, even though there are no grass, there are trees with green leaves. It's gotta be a bug, right? Well, anyway, I'm curious if caves generate, and where stone generates, and if bedrock generates in this world type, so let's investigate. My trusty tool TNT will be able to tell me. A little technique for when you do this kind of thing, you want to take a couple blocks down, drop one TNT in, and then run. Stone does generate. Interesting. Well, I'll see you at the bottom. Well, I've blasted my way all the way down to bedrock, and there didn't seem to be any ores or caves on the way down. But there is a clean layer of bedrock. That's good to know. Well, not sure how I'm supposed to get out of this mess, but I do know one way. Why don't we take a look at the fiery theme with some other of the themes we've seen? Like, for example, we could do a fiery theme and a floating theme. Why not? Whoa, that looks so cool. Let's get a better look. Whoa. Yeah, that is really cool. And ores are generating now. Maybe I just got unlucky earlier. Oh well. But that's not all for this episode. I want to cover a couple of glitches. Yes, some unintentional features that happen to me in this version, and a couple of them get removed in the next. That's the main reason. So, without further ado, let's take a look. I've gotten myself down to half heart to show you that when saving and then re-entering a world, your hearts completely refill. Additionally, if you start mining a block with the wrong tool and then swap to the right one, it will flash every texture in the game. They become unbreakable for a moment. When opening a chest or your inventory, a weird little darkening effect appears around it. And this effect does not really apply to entities such as Rana. See, she's still in full light. And as you may be noticing, yeah, I'm moving with the chest UI open, and it's still interactable. This is very odd behavior. Remember from last episode when we placed sand and it didn't fall down, it stayed up, but when we placed the sand next to it, it fell down? This is a concept called block updates, and it's a little technical, but I'll explain it the best I can. Anyway, sponges soak up water, and this soaking up of the water gives a block update, which can affect the sand. Sometimes. It's a little buggy, but it is an interesting way to remotely trigger sand falling from up to 5 blocks away. This last glitch is easiest shown on a flat world, where you can freely walk off the border. It involves the F5 debug key, which creates the rain, and when the rain is activated outside the world border, it will crash the game. This is a hard crash. There's no way to avoid it once it's done, and you will have to exit out of the window. To the best of my abilities, I've reconstructed the time machine from episode 1. It's not as great as that one, but it should suffice, bringing us one version at a time instead of all the way back. To activate it, we must simply break the sponge. Here we go! Well, looks like we've arrived. Where have we arrived? Indev 2010-0125. The very next version, released the very next day. But we'll cover what's new in the next version, because that's all we've got time for. If you like what you see, consider subscribing. This is gonna be a series. And until next time, bye-bye.